Alright Reds, Eddie Gibbs from Anfield Index here, and this is a paid advertisement for BetterHelp Therapy Online. Ever wondered how elite athletes stay on top of their game? It's not just the endless drills or physical training, it's about mastering the mental game. As fans, we relish the thrill of the match, the adrenaline of the competition, but off the pitch, are we keeping our mental fitness in check? Whether it's strategizing your next move in the local leagues, or just staying mentally sharp for a friendly game of weekend football, mental resilience plays a key part. And that's where Better Health comes into play, providing you with online therapy to bolster not just your physical, but also your mental prowess. With BetterHelp, it's like having a personal coach for your mind. Therapy sessions that fit around your training schedule, your games, and your life, all online and all at your convenience. It's about learning strategies to manage stress, enhance focus, and reignite that winning mindset. Signing up is simple. Fill out a brief questionnaire and get matched with a therapist. Think your needs have changed? Then switch therapists at any time, no extra charge. Over 5,000 therapists in the UK are ready to assist you in playing the best mental game of your life. Rediscover your competitive edge with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/index to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/index. Ready, set, grow. BetterHelp, because the strongest players know the game is also mental.
By the time you're finished listening to this Pepsi Zero Sugar, you'll be 15 seconds closer to kickoff. Stock up now. Bengals game day is so close, you can almost taste it. Bengals watching. Better with Pepsi.
Want to shop Walmart Black Friday deals first? Walmart Plus members get early access to our hottest deals. Join now and get 50% off a one-year annual membership. Shop Black Friday deals first with Walmart Plus. See terms at walmartplus.com.
Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our Quick Publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest Anfield Index and the Pressure podcast. My name's Dan Kennett, and with me for international break, review the season so far, context of how brilliant the mighty Reds are. I got the full team. I got Si, even Si.
Evening, boys.
Happy day, Si. Enjoying the snow?
Pisses me off. It's not real snow. Either snow or don't. Just don't faff around. Cancel the country.
Did you train in the snow today?
Yeah.
Excellent.
I would expect every other day.
I would expect nothing less. Anyway, Phil, evening, Dr. Phil, Dr. Bart's. Not much snow over there, though.
No, mate, just a cyclone coming in tomorrow morning. But yeah, all good.
Okay,
all good.
All right. So cyclone means how big are the winds potentially? Up to
To be classified as a cyclone, I think it has to be over 110 miles an hour. So yeah, it's not coming close. By the time it gets to us, it'll be about 60 or 70 miles an hour.
Oh God! Well, fingers crossed for you, mate. Gosh, that's nasty. And we've got the boy wonder. It's Hamza Khalid-Lunat, sports analyst at the Times. Evening, Hamza.
Hello. Good to be back, and looking forward to the Premier League getting back underway because I think we've missed it now. We've had the 2-0 win over Villa, and since then we've been missing our boys.
Have you been to watch Wolverhampton Wanderers this weekend? That seems to be your staple.
No, I had them 2 weeks in a row, and thankfully I didn't have to watch them this weekend. They're really struggling at the moment.
Did they put you on Wolves Women instead then, or just for the banter?
I had this week off, but I did a little bit of England stuff on Saturday. But yeah.
Okay. All right. Curtis Jones. Right. Talking about internationals. So you can start off by talking about Sir Curtis Jones, but we're going to do our normal our normal review of the international break, Reds on internationals and fatigue index and how much the Reds are playing and all that kind of stuff. So, Si, what's it been like this time? Has it been as intense a period for our boys as the last 2 blocks?
Well, we got Mo, didn't bother going, and Virgil's pulled out again, which he did for the second game of the last one. We still have a ton of our kids that are in all of the international camps, which is very kind of nice. But then everyone else is still playing all the games. Robbo busting his nut last night for 98 minutes, scored in the last minute, which is very exciting for him. But the stress involved, Simi, the same kind of thing. But Endo is at 18,648 miles. Yeah, it blows my mind, the mileage of these lads that they have to get through. Can you guess how many time zones Endo's had to travel?
In this break? 20.
Exactly, 20. Nailed it.
Boom! I'm going to win. Take the win, Dan. Take the win.
Saitama to Jakarta, back up to China, Jianjin in China, and then back to Liverpool. Like this.
So since the season started, has he effectively circumnavigated the globe?
Since the season started, he's circumnavigated the globe almost twice. So he's just nuts. 48,500 miles.
On the plus side, he must have some really nice air miles.
He doesn't need a private jet. He's got free flight for the rest of his life.
Yeah, nice. Curtis Jones site. As is pretty much his number one fan, and you must have been absolutely ecstatic.
Hasn't he played well? He just looks like such I don't know, competent, which I think is grossly underrated.
Elite.
Yeah, he looks like a complete midfielder. He looks like, so you're not looking at him going, oh, this is Gaza or, the second coming of Jude Bellingham or anything, but he's good at everything. And there's no weakness. You're not looking at him going, oh, yeah, but he's shit at this. It's not like, oh, yeah, but he's Trent and he's shit at defending. Or I tell you what Curtis can't do very well. Cross.
Well, who cares?
Who cares? Who fucking cares? He is so far, it's really hard to really assess international football because it's mostly wank. And you've no idea historically how to compare one team or one player against previous generations because the quality of opposition is so atrocious. But also, it's sporadic in that you can't compare a Greek team now against 10 years ago, against 20 years ago, because the quality of which would have been hugely up and down. And this international break as well, the most people have dropped out of any of the 3 international breaks so far. So loads of people haven't played in this one because nobody thinks it's important in international games. But all that being said, he has done everything he possibly could to cement a place in that team. And he has kicked the nuts off Angel, so Angel's not getting back at that side. And I think they're both really good, but I'm all for it. And the world seems to
out of interest in terms of an engine, we talked about Jones on the last pod with his 13k per 90 average for the season, which is just phenomenal. Did he run more than Conor Gallagher in the last international 3 months?
I don't know. Conor's a beast as well.
Yeah, no, but I was going to say he must be one of the few ones who could rival Jones to go 13k a match, right?
Yeah. They probably can, but the track and stuff doesn't come out on that because there's so many stop starts in international football. It's barely. Okay. Yeah, but they both of them have huge engines.
Yeah, just gonna nip over to Hamza. Hamza, you said you've been covering a bit of England stuff. Curtis Jones.
Lee Carsley's been a big fan of his. As well, Gareth Southgate would have called him up if he could have, if he had minutes last season for the group before the Euros and then for the Euros, but he didn't because he didn't play much in the end towards the end of the season. But yeah, Carsley really, really likes him. That first match, he was excellent when he scored the goal. The second match, again, he displayed less of that attacking element to his game and more of the all-round stuff. On Si's point about not crossing, interesting as well. Liverpool just are crossing a lot less this season, so it's not a quality that he will need to draw upon. But whether he will feature in future international squads is less certain because of Thomas Tuchel arriving with England. So another player that would have played in this window in the past couple would have been Harvey Elliott, according to Carsley, who likes him a lot. But whether they will have the opportunity to break in depends on how Tuchel sees the squad and whether he sees these players as worth developing for England or some players for a future manager as his target is the World Cup. So yeah, that's just something to keep in mind. I imagine Curtis will still get minutes, but we'll have to see.
Tuchel likes box-to-box midfielders, doesn't he?
Yeah, but he's got Conor Gallagher, hasn't he? A player that he's worked with before. He'll play, almost certainly play with Jude Bellingham, and then you've got Rice, who probably won't drop out the team either. So if you play for the 3-4-3, as some may expect, then there's only 2 midfield slots. If he plays with a 4-3-3, you get different. So yeah, stuff up in the air, which might be good in terms of rest and recuperation, but we'll just see over the next few months.
Okay, brilliant. Si, there was a discussion one in our UP Discord, which you one was seeing, but I need to raise it with you. And it's regarding how much the level of support that's typical at top clubs for players dealing with mental health or psychological issues, right, on that side of things. Because this was in reference to the Hungarian player who had, I think it was a seizure, in the Netherlands game. I don't know what the status of the player is. I have to say I'm a bit ignorant on this one, so I do apologise, any Hungarian listeners. But obviously, Zabozlai was a captain, apparently gave an interview afterwards, and he was almost like breaking down in TV. So what if as the captain of his nation, obviously, and one of his players happened to, if some players are coming back dealing with what you might call psychological side of issues, or maybe trauma or grief, what is there typically at clubs to help players like that?
They all have access to a psychologist, right across all the top clubs. And very often it's common that now players have their own psychologist who they'll say. Virgil has his own diabetes once a week, who he has a call with regularly most days. But there's one on site the whole time. Even 5 years ago, there might have been one that would come in once a week. Do you remember Steve?
Yeah, the chimp guy in a chimp.
Yeah. I'm what Steve was. That he was consultant for a while, but now they will have because of the constant regular partnerships they have with universities. There'll be the top teams will have a sports psychologist on hand. There'll be access to a clinical psychologist if they need, but there will be regular. As part of the sports psychology outreach programs from the universities. So there will be access for everybody to have one if they need something along those lines. But they're typically sports psychologists. There will be a clinical psychologist if they need somebody to speak to. Everybody has access to them, like the doctor.
Nice one. Thank you, Si. Hope that answered the question, chaps, in the group. So enjoyed that. Si, let's talk about injuries. Anything new? That's the big one. Anything new to add? Anything's come up in this break?
I think we've been really, really fortunate with injuries so far. Fortunate. So when I say fortunate, it's got nothing to do with any kind of judgment of how we're training people or the loading that we're stressing our with. This is not any judgment on the strategy. This is just that at one point 5 years ago, we had 80% of our games missed were caused by international breaks. So, do you remember when Studge and Curtis Jones and Ox and Hendo, all of them had big injuries and they were all caused...
Joe Gomez,
yeah. So, what I'm saying is we are lucky in that we don't have any. Nobody's come back. Nobody's picked up a knock so far. So, yeah. We're kind of fortunate in that regard, and long may it continue. We're currently at so we're coming into the end of week 14 of the season, and we are averaging 3.4 injuries per game. Last season it was 9.7 injuries per game. So we're in a much better spot for that. We're doing lots of really nice rotation. I will link that now while we can to strategy and loading in relation to the percentage of career of a 3-year average that we currently have. You could name them, but there's been less rotation this season. We obviously know this. We've got our keeper who is playing more than he ever has in his life because Ali is injured early in the season. So that's going to be, so we're not going to take that. But we currently have Trent, who is playing 30% above his career average, projected for the season. We have Simi, who's 30% above his career average. We have the scary one, Ibu, which is 190% of career average right now. So Ibu's on for 43% above a career high.
Ibu, the captain of France, by the way.
Amazing. Played both games, though, didn't he?
Yeah.
Even Virgil is on for his career average, and he's old. So at some point, that's got to start to come down, whether it's this season, next season, season after, whatever. I'm not worried about Virgil. My concern would be in the place you'd expect it to be from a positional perspective. The forwards have been great. None of them are even orange. All of them are around really good rotation level, plus Mo, who's a beast. So his career, most career average is really high. So you don't have to worry about him playing every game because he's always played every game. And the others have been rotating nicely, so they're all in a nice sweet spot. Problem is in midfield. We've got Mac, Grav, CJ, that are all on career maxes. They're all on for career maxes. And Zobo is on for a career high. Zobo is already 15% above career average as well, which would be, I would comfortably sit of a 20% increase on a career average for a 25-year-old midfielder or below that. 22, 25, that's a good time. If you're going to increase 30% season on season, that's smart. It's good practice. You want to keep pushing that if you can while they're in the primes. You don't want to push them too early, and you don't want to push them. You don't want to expect them to be able to be pushed in their 30s because that's insane. So you nudge them on that as they're going on their way up to their physical peaks. But Grav is currently on for 260% of his 3-year average. So when I'm talking career average, I'm not talking in their teenage years. And he is on for 48% above his career max as well. So at the current trajectory. So obviously Ibu and Grav, who are two significant key performers so far this season, you would be stupid to rely on them playing at the rate they're currently playing at.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we have to find a level of rotation for them at some point.
Yeah.
Because they're playing every minute for their country as well. And that's new. The problem is not that they're doing it. It's that it's new that they're playing every minute for their country too.
Yeah. But one thing we know about the new slots thing is slot regime is that they don't give specifics on injuries. They don't discuss the nature of what injuries are now. They just say a player's absent or not. What are you feeling about? Obviously the big one is Trent. What's your gut feeling on Trent on the severity of the injury and when he might come back? Up to Bart's.
Sorry, mate, you cut out there. With Trent,
yeah,
I think we've called that early. Maybe not Southampton. I'd expect him to play against City. Personally, he's had 2 weeks off, maybe a bit early, but I think if it's a grade 1, which he was walking down the tunnel, that doesn't mean a lot, but we caught it really early on. I wouldn't suspect it's that much longer than that weekend. Just to build on a size point with Grab as well, you got to remember he's not played much for the previous 2 seasons. So this is his first season playing every single game in, game out, and it's a huge increase. That'd be my concern. But no, with Trent, if it's a grade 1, I haven't got any major worries. City maybe a bit early, but not too long after that. The mystery man, Chiesa, is the one that we've brought in to be a rotation option, and the news around him is non-existent. In fact, you're not getting any updates at the moment, which is probably a concern of mine, given I know we're rotating the forwards well, but he was supposed to be like another another option.
Yeah. So we need to hear something that on this when the press conference is Thursday or Friday, that he's in, he's potentially available in the squad for Southampton. That's the best case scenario, isn't it?
Yeah. But we need that back in, because there's going to come a point with Jota not being there that rotation in the 9 is not happening efficiently. So it starts impacting another area, because you've already, like we saw against Leverkusen, he played Diaz up front. Now, tactically, that worked out really well, but it's also because Núñez had played back-to-back, and you had to drop him out, and you didn't have the alternatives. So that there comes a point at which you need that other rotation to come in. You can't go for a unit having 2 rotations not playing. And that's why I would strengthen in January for midfield, because we currently, I would say, probably got 4, push 5 players who you could happily rotate. CJ's pushed in there. You got Don, Mac, Grav, full starters. You're not worried about the quality. Other than that, is a bit of a concern going forward.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. You might say all kinds of stuff when things go wrong, but these are the words you really need to remember. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. They've got options to fit your unique insurance needs, meaning you can talk to your agent to choose the coverage you need, have coverage options to protect the things you value most, file a claim right on the State Farm mobile app, and even reach a real person when you need to talk to someone. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Chronic migraine is 15 or more headache days a month, each lasting 4 hours or more.
Botox, onabotulinum toxin A, prevents headaches in adults with chronic migraine. It's not for adults with migraine with 14 or fewer headache days a month. It prevents, on average, 8 to 9 headache days a month versus 6 to 7 for placebo.
Prescription Botox is injected by your doctor. Effects of Botox may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away, as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness can be signs of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Side effects may include allergic reactions, neck and injection site pain, fatigue, and headache. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Don't receive Botox if there's a skin infection. Tell your doctor your medical history, muscle or nerve conditions, including ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects.
Ask your doctor and visit BotoxChronicMigraine.com or call 1-800-44-BOTOX to learn more.
The holiday season officially starts when you get that first card in the mail. Shutterfly makes it easy to add more meaning to the everyday with hundreds of holiday card designs that can be personalized in seconds with your favorite photos from this year. Select your greeting, customize the color, and even add little extras like personalized foil to make a holiday card that really shines. Enjoy 40% off with code SMILE40 at Shutterfly.com and send something meaningful this year. See site for more details.
I don't need a VPN. I've got nothing to hide. Ha! This is what I used to tell myself before I hooked up with LibertyShield.com. Not only is my home internet now fully encrypted, but I can now access all the websites I want, whenever I want, and do so from absolutely anywhere. As a Liverpool fan, I love to know I can now watch every match, regardless of whether it's on UK TV or not. My Liberty Shield VPN makes sure nothing is blocked and guarantees me super fast streaming speed throughout that match. You can get connected right now with their software package, which includes a 48-hour no-obligation free trial and instant access to their apps for Apple, Android, Fire TV, PC, Mac and Android TV. Or go a step further like I have and get one of their pre-configured VPN routers. These small but powerful devices allow you to easily connect every device in your home to VPN, making it the perfect solution for smart TVs, Mac boxes, and games consoles. Visit LibertyShield.com today and use coupon code AIVPN25 to get 25% off at checkout.
Even this weekend, for example, Endo, he's not going to be an option, is he? Because of all the travelling he's done, so... Yeah,
CJ probably is. I mean, no, when the Finnish analysts, he just had this week kind of for a week around. So probably okay. Max, the one again coming back late, is going to be the worry. So you guess against Saints away. I think Grav hasn't played a full game for Netherlands today, is it, or whenever the game? I think Grav's done this
tonight, isn't it?
It's not.
Play 92 on Saturday.
Yeah, I don't think Grav's playing tonight. So therefore, potentially against Saints, you're looking at Grav, CJ, Don. With Don rotating, maybe I don't know how many minutes. He's captain, isn't he? So he's going to play if everyone goes down the gap. But yeah, that's what I would suggest. And then Mac available for the Real Madrid and City games coming back in is probably what I would suggest. I wouldn't be surprised if Bradley plays against Saints, and it wouldn't surprise me if Bradley plays against Madrid. Bearing in mind, to be frank, if you were going to pick a game to get Trent back in and make sure he's back for his City rather than Madrid, because we've got 12 points in Champions League.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? You don't want to lose at home to Madrid, what I'm saying, but it's not imperative towards qualification, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So, are you expecting us to do the same thing as after the last international break, and then the South American lads are all on the bench? South American lads and Endo, the lads who travelled the most, are all on the bench. Well, one of them's going to have to play, right? One of the South American forwards is going to have to play.
Endo's always on the bench. I would be expecting Darwin plays Brazil tonight. Colombia play, I can't remember, but they're at home. Which is the furthest. Diaz has got the furthest to travel, and he played like a really high stakes game against Darwin the other day, didn't he? So you're going Gakpo along with Mo plus whoever is the freshest out of those two. I think that's what it'll come down to. And typically, I'm guessing it will be Diaz, because he does tend to recover well. But who knows? And who knows what the consequences of the games tonight are. So yeah, that's.
But I guess one option.
What's right about midfield?
Yeah, that's the concern area for you as well.
No, I think that he's right about who's going to start on Saturday. That's all.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But get somebody that he trusts in to play as the six. Grav's just going to get fried.
Yeah. Harvey Elliott in the front three possibly might be an option against Southampton then as well for the South Americans.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know what he feels about Harvey.
Okay. Last word to you, Hamza. Anything from you on the international break? Any observations? Anything to note for the Southampton game?
No, I think that's actually been covered off really well, and we'll maximise our time with Dr. Phil.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So, on to the season so far, stats pack, and the season so far generally. The stats pack has been produced by Dr. Phil, an amazing piece of work, absolutely astonishing, which we have put out on socials and in the Under Pressure Discord group. And I think the first thing to note is, Bart's, that this is 15 games in this pack, though, isn't it? It's 11 Champions League games, 11 Premier League games, and 4 Champions League games. So it's a non-trivial sample size now.
Yeah. It's a good sample size. I haven't got the League Cup games in because it's really hard to get data for them, to be frank with you.
Yeah.
Just not. I think it's not worth the risk in terms of purity of the sample data, if you know what I mean. So, but yeah, some good trends happening. We were chatting off mic about the probabilities of winning and those kind of things as we go through the game states, and we. You know, as all the games together, we should have won 74% of the points available in 1,000 sims, which is pretty exceptional. Which means we're running a little bit hot in terms of points, and the same for goals conceded and goals for. I would suggest running hot, certainly for goals conceded. I think overall in the games that I've got in my pack, I've got just over 12 XGA. We've exceeded 7, so that suggests we're running probably a little bit hot. Whereas the goals for, we've got 30 XG around that, and we scored 31. So yeah, I think we're in around, but it does change depending on a game state. There's some game states where we are overperforming our XG by a considerable amount, particularly winning. The EMC's only got us scoring 10 goals when winning, when we scored 21. So it's just something to be aware of, and the game states affect it. Defensively, though, we're pretty much bang on in all of the game states, which is something I know, Darth, you've been banging the drum for a long while, that this team is legit in terms of defensive numbers. So I think the MCs do back that up. It's just the attacking wise, we're probably a little bit hot in certain game states. Pleasing things for me to note is that when we last did it, I think we had some really high percentage chance of winnings in the different game states, and that hasn't really changed.
Yeah.
When you're drawing, you're 83% likely to win. When you're winning, you're 80% likely to go on and win that. So we're quite dangerous actually at a draw state.
Yeah.
Which is quite good. And garbage time is garbage time, but then it's only 60% chance of winning in garbage time, which is a bit weird, but it's just we spent so few time in that period of time. Not so few time, but it's just a difficult period of time to do. Given our tactics as well, we end up giving a bit more XG away, so that affects the probabilities of conceding in that time. So, yeah, but overall, some good trends in there. What are the things?
Bill, what are the things that you really like that really say that this is a really strong indicator of we're a top team?
But I was just going to say that one of the things that you guys, I bang on about is our threat to XG conversion rate.
Yes.
As an overall for those games, we're only letting them convert threat to XG at 68%. That's an incredibly low volume to be having. That's considering that on average last season, if we let them have converted that over 100, 150%, they'd score. So we're keeping it really below that marker. And yet we are on average doing 133% conversion. So at both ends of the pitch, we are just in and around. I could do with us nudging our threat conversion a little bit higher, but defensively, that is superb. If you look at that, yes, go on, so.
Is your conversion rate of XT what turns into XG or what turns into XG2?
XG. Right. You could be into XG. Yeah.
So let's just explore what that means, right? But because this is something we do talk about a lot, and it's probably good to have an explainer here, right?
Yeah.
So the first thing is could something like that, in your opinion, could that relationship exist only by chance at this point?
For this level of game?
Yeah.
No. I think that's the probability of that being by chance is extremely low. I would suggest that our system is now preventing opposition to turn threat to XG.
So let's visualize a wide player, an opponent gets the ball to just outside the box, just outside our penalty box on the left wing, right? So that is a reasonably threatening position because he's potentially going to be in a one-on-one situation with a fullback, right? With the ability to either maybe dribble past him or put a ball into the box, something like that. So that's a kind of situation that has when you look at that event on its own, it has a pretty micro level of XT, doesn't it? But and that you get into that area of the box. So what would we be looking at, about 0.4 of 1%, something like that? Yeah, something tiny, right? But what you're saying is that whereas last season it might have been very easy for that opponent to then dribble or pass into a more dangerous position inside our box, this season we're actually reducing that by what, 30%? Did you say?
Yeah. I would say, last season, to be honest with you, we had a period of time where we were letting them convert 150%. So for us to knock down to 60 odd is remarkable, So, that's just the way we were a bit. We all said it. We were a bit open. We were a bit open at the back. And I suppose the best plot to look at this, or one of the better ones, is the zone 14 and half space plot for the opposition, where we had commented game on game that although the opposition are getting into those areas, they are not then making the pass into our box at a high volume. And that would be an instant where they're in a high threat area, but to turn that into an increased threat and more likely to convert that into an XG, i.e. a shot, as the pass would end up in the box. And we're just not letting the opposition do that with any readiness. Particularly zone 14, we've become very good at protecting that area. That is a a product of having two sitters effectively off the ball. So you have two centre halves who are playing to almost elite levels now this season, and then you've got two sitters in front. So the chances that the opposition is going to find a passing lane from zone 14 into the box is dramatically reduced, and that is a very high threat to XG conversion opportunity. If you go into the half spaces either side of it, so then they'll go out there to try it, you've then seen us, fullbacks have become more, Trent particularly, has become better at defending that areas of time. And you'll also see the pivot of that side will come over and support and make sure that they shut off that half zone as well. And then it goes into a 1v1 duel wide in the outside channel. And both our fullbacks, bar the odd exception, like Arsenal away, Villa at home for a couple of instances, our fullbacks have been very, very good at stopping the cross or winning that duel at that point and putting out for throw. So all that cordon around the box, both on left-hand sides, we've made it a priority to stop the pass into the box. That's not to say that it doesn't happen, because it's football. It happens and there'll be chances. But if you look at those plots and the passes particularly, whereas last year we were letting them, not high volume, but we were letting those passes occur. The number of times we said they'd slice around midfield, that kind of thing, that just isn't happening this season.
Yeah. So, Sai, it's really interesting when you hear Bart talk about something like that, which shows up in the numbers, because you think about all the discussions that we've had match on match over the season about good things that we've liked in what the team are doing. Obviously, like the rate at which we're winning individual 1v1 duels, right? The lack of opponents who are counter-attacking us and our ability to keep our shape well in negative transition, the compactness of the team, and also players just covering each other, the positions between the centre back and the full back and the centre back and the midfield. So, this is what else? What else do you see that we're doing in our play that is helping that really suppress that opposition threat?
I think our rest defences, we have one and we didn't before. I think that's simply a couple of really standout points, right? Is the last season we would give the ball to Trent and then 4 or 5 players would go run off to the top line. And there would be nobody behind. So Trent would lose the ball or he would do something brilliant. And then then you probably had 6 players who were deeper than them or in a more attacking position from the opposition's perspective to just break against us. And what we're doing now is building slightly more pragmatically, but out wide most of the time. We're creating nice little diamonds deep out wide. And Trent is getting his share of the ball. He's not being the dominant ball handler in the team, so he's not as easy to mark somebody out of it. But even when we are making nice shapes down the side to gamble, one of the forwards coming deep, one of them going long, the 10 coming over to support. Even then, one of the deeper line midfielders and the other fullback gets saved. Whereas under Klopp, if one fullback got the ball, the other one's gone.
At the Home Depot, the holidays have arrived.
And so is all my family. So I'm working on keeping up with the laundry.
The Home Depot is here to help with Black Friday savings up to 40% off select appliances. Spend less time doing laundry with smart, efficient appliances from Samsung. Ranked #1 in customer satisfaction.
Perfect. Less laundry time means more family time.
Get Black Friday savings now with free delivery and financing on select appliances at the Home Depot. Visit jdpower.com/awards for more details. Offer valid November 6th through December 4th. U.S. only. See store or online for details.
When you share your food, you share your heart. So what's on your table this holiday season? Save on your festive feast at Kroger with delicious deals on all the holiday classics. Or wow the crowd with something new, like a quinoa stuffed butternut squash. It's sure to add a pop of color to your spread. How about a sweet potato casserole with a crunchy oat streusel topping? Made with care for the sweet tooth and the savory tooth. With Kroger, fill your table with love and watch as your guests' hearts get as full as their bellies. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
At Sierra, discover top workout gear at incredible prices, which might lead to another discovery. Your headphones haven't been connected this whole time. Awkward. Discover top brands at unexpectedly low prices. Sierra, let's get moving.
Or sometimes those at the same time.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So they'd just be gone. So we're being much more cognizant and of the opposition breaking. And if you got players in their place, you've controlled space a little bit better. We can talk about Slot as much as you like. As brilliant as Slot has been, we don't even know at this point. 11 games, we can't tell. What we do know is that Trent is trying exponentially harder at defending than he did in the past. Virgil is playing so much better than he had. Probably injury, he's fully recovered from his injury. I think there's a little bit of interest going on there as well. So he is fully bought into. There is a good chance that he after injury wasn't sure how good he could be, because that's what happens. It's interesting you talk about mental health, because it's a really dark, long road back from ACL and from being on your own, being around the team every single day, to not being great at the thing that you are great at for your whole life. So you're going to have your ego, your id, whatever it is going to be diminished because you don't have that daily success of being brilliant at something. So it takes ages. It takes you a good long period of time to come back. You don't know whether you're going to. You second guess yourself. He is back. He is now fully convinced he's back to being the best defender in the world, and he is absolutely playing like it. I think we can, those two things in themselves, it can make us jump to conclusions about Slot that we aren't sure about yet. Because those two things have such a huge impact on how we defend. We are also, in all fairness, we are a little bit hot defensively in how many goals we conceded against how much we should. But just while, I don't know if you can see, while Bart's, I was asking that question deliberately because I have all of the details of all of the numbers on us and City and Arsenal in the background. I wanted to see the XD conversion rate last season for us, because we're actually not quite as good attacking-wise as we were last season. And I don't think we're that much different, right? I think City and Arsenal are much worse than we are better. The conversion rate so I'm looking at the same fixtures season on season, right? Not for the whole season, just looking at the same fixtures season on season. We had an XG conversion rate of 126% last season, 129 this season. The XG conversion rate we allowed last season was 111%, 88 this season. Again, in the games that we played so far. Can I talk about City and Arsenal?
Yeah.
Right, City's conversion rate last season was 170% of their expected threat.
Yeah, it's mostly Phil Foden scoring 25-yarders every other game.
A thunder bastards, all the thunder bastards. But we talked about that they don't give anything away unless they do any fig. The actually converting against them was 140%, 141 actually.
Ooh.
Right, this season, so 170, they're down to 128. And they're still scoring some thunder bastards. They won 3-0 on 0.8 XG.
Yeah.
When the other team had 3 XG against them, I think. The XT again, so it was 141 last season, which is still horrible, but they can mitigate 141 when you're at 170. This season, they're at 128, opposition's 147. 147% of XG conversion.
So they're really easy to score against, yeah.
Arsenal, really interestingly, I thought. There's lots of stuff that's shown up, right? 134% conversion last season. So it's a little bit better than ours. I think it's a lot to do with set pieces, but a little bit better than ours. XT against last season, identical, 134%. So 134% for, 134% against, but they didn't give very much XT away, so they get to win games. This season, 134 comes down to 118. Even then, they're only giving up 134 again against. So their defense is what it is. They're doing the exact same things. It's just that their attack is dropped off 20%. I always thought, if you remember, that they were running a little bit hot last season, and they just managed to kind of stay there. And I think that they've fallen from that now. And it's made an awful lot of it. So you go down to XT to XG, and I go XG to I've done XG to XG2, and that is even more stark. But we'll talk about it. We can add some of that in later when we've asked Scott.
To say you've got basically from quick maths, the difference between City and Arsenal is almost a negative on some of those, right? Is the reverse. Yes. They're allowing more XG to they're allowing the opposition to convert XG to threat to XG at a better rate than they're doing it themselves.
City and Arsenal both are doing that. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Whereas we have gone the other way and actually gone, no, we're going to reduce the amount, or we've increased that gap between what we allow and what we produce. So to actually is effective. Yeah, the gap is bigger.
Yeah. Our difference this season is 42%. And it was 16% last season. It's 42% this season.
Hey guys, it's Eddie Gibbs from Anfield Index here. I hope you're enjoying this podcast, and I'm sorry to call time on the show before it ends. In the current climate, it's tougher than ever before to offer podcasts for free. At Anfield Index, we produce over 75 free shows every month, which I'm confident is unparalleled in the LFC sphere. Whilst we'd love to offer everything for free, the production costs now make this impossible. That said, we don't want to follow the model of other channels and lock all of our content behind a paywall. So what we've decided to do is to continue offering every show for free, but cut that offering to 30 minutes on our longer shows. So to get all of our shows in full and enjoy the best of everything we have to offer, we really hope you'll consider supporting the channel and signing up at AnfieldIndexPro.com. For about the price of 1 cup of coffee, you'll get every podcast in full with 0 ads. You'll also get access to our LFC VIP community, where you can enjoy live podcasts, engage with our podcasters, and chat with other Reds in real time. So that website again, AnfieldIndexPro.com. Join today.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.